Well, strange enough, from what I've read, the same afternoon a couple of girls came in and asked for it. And then, also in the meantime, I think Bill Harry, who ran the Mersey beat, who also had an office in the same building as I worked in Hackins Hay. Yeah. Bill was dropping these Mersey beat copies down to Nems and Rushworths and places like that, spreading the word, because it was a fantastic local newspaper for info on the 60s bands, the Mersey beat. And so Nems ultimately and Epstein got the wind of the whole thing.
And they only had a few yards to walk, didn't they? Just
up the road. But I always remember in the Wheat Chief about 3 or 4 years later, I would say maybe 66, something like that. Because Ray did this back in 1962, or late 61, you know. But in the middle of the 60s, he came into Wheat Chief one night and he had this box, and he took the tissue off the top box, and it was a copy. Book was a cellar full of noise.
Was it? Epstein's book?
Right. Yeah. And he opened it, and he said, "Look at this, lad." And inside it had been sent to him by Epstein's secretary, Martha or something, a lady beginning with M. She was a nice person.
Good old, what was it? Good old, I can't think of it.
Yes.
The Beatles, I can't think.
Her name was Myra or Mandy or Martha or something like that.
What I'll do is I'll think of that later and I'll plaster it on the wall there, the name of the woman.
But she sent it to Ray.
Good old geezer, good old something. I know what you mean, sorry.
Yeah, and she'd sent him it, and Epstein had written just on the inside cover, thanks for the calling in or asking. I can't remember the exact wording. Best wishes, Brian Epstein.
Oh yeah.
And Ray was sure he couldn't stop. He never picked up his guitar.
When you think of what he contributed to Brian Epstein, and it was his belief, wasn't it, in the Beatles? You know, and you just think,
well, we all believed in them.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't.
Did you actually get to see the Beatles?
I saw them once only at the Casbah. I never went.
The Casbah in
West Derby. It's Pete Best's mother. I went there just the once. Ray used to go to Nottingham Village Hall. That's where he followed them.
Yeah. That's right. The Beatles played there a lot.
Played there at Nottingham Village Hall. I never went to the lunchtime sessions at the Cavern, which a lot of the staff in the office did.
Yeah.
Although I think they stopped doing the lunchtime sessions about mid '62 or early '63. I'm not too sure on that particular fact, but they all used to go over there for that hour or lunchtime session. It must
have been fantastic.
Well, it was just a buzz. I walked from my office in Hackins Hay, and if I wanted any new strings or anything, it was just through the back streets, past the Iron Door, down past the fruit market, and across there, and you'd call into Stanley Street and you'd get your new strings or whatever, and you'd see a guy from the Escort or a guy from the Mojo.
That was at Essie's?
You know, or just all around, or on the way to and from, because quite a few of them had jobs in town as office boys or customs clerks or dock runners or whatever, you know. So it was very much, you got to know sort of, not into...
What did you think when you seen the Beatles at the time? Because they weren't famous at the time. But did you just think...
They were following.
Even then when you seen them in the Castle, what would this be, 1960?
61.
1961,
yes.
Got to be 1 year of age, what, a year old then. And you see the Beatles, and did you just think they've just got that something else, that edge?
To be honest, I never went to see them. I just went to the Casbah with a girl that I was going out with, you know. So, well, she said to me, "Have you ever been there?" And I said, "No." So we went, and they were on. And I remember sitting in one room and then going through the other room and I stood and I thought, "Oh yeah, they're good."
They are good.
Great sound and just so committed and knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing.
Just the next minute it took off, didn't it? The whole thing. I did the whole thing for Liverpool groups in particular.
I'll tell you a group, and this is something a little bit of my own history. Am I right in my memory here? Does my memory serve me correctly? But did you used to look after a group? Later on, we're moving up now into the mid to late 70s. Yeah. Did you used to look after a group called Brooklyn?
Yes.
Yeah. They were fantastic.
Great.
I'll tell you who the lineup was. There was Peter Dixie.
Pete Dixie on lead singer and guitar.
Yeah, there was Dixie.
Dixie.
Peter Deary. Kev Mulvaney on lead guitar. Bernie Carroll.
Carroll on
God
drums.
rest.
Yeah, Paul Bernie's passed, hasn't
No, Bernie Carroll was on bass. God rest.
Bernie on
his soul.
bass, sorry, yes. Yeah.
And John Leggett on the
John
drums.
Leggett, John's still around.
Oh,
isn't he?
what a drummer, John Leggett.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, his dad was concert secretary for Zachary Leeds
That's
as
right,
well for a number of years.
Yeah, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
This is how we, which I'm grateful for this actually, because what happened years ago, I was mates with them lads, Brooklyn, before they become Cook the Books. And I think it was John Leggett or Diggs, he said to me, have a word with Dave Cullen, Garston Entertainment, he'll put you out. And I remember you put us out without an audition. And what happened? You just
I had
went,
every confidence in you, I might have.
yeah, it must have been the lads.
Someone recommended,
I'm
you
thinking,
know,
we're not as good as Brooklyn, if he doesn't think that.
Yeah.
But I remember you saying, and it must have been 1976, 77.
Yeah.
I was only very young, 78, something like that. And I remember you saying to me, because of John, when we were in the band called Prowler, well, I won't audition you, but see how you go. And I'll go on the feedback how you go down. And we never ever auditioned. And at that time, I've got to be honest, at that time we weren't that good. We were enthusiastic rock and rollers. We weren't great, but we got better because you put us out. You put us out to these clubs. We did get better. And I remember at one time, you sent us to this place in Whitehaven, and it was this big, massive club with glass floors, glass dance floor. And I'm going, wow. And in the dressing room, there's a picture of Tom Jones, leaning against the cupboard.
Right. Yes.
And we're all leaning against the cupboard, getting our picture taken.
Yes.
We really thought we'd arrived,
Yes.
And it was just a fantastic experience. So I thank you for that, for putting us out. Yeah.
Well, I did come to see you. I always remember, because whilst I would sort of now and again take a chance on a band or a person, and I went to see the band at the Rem. Do you ever remember the Rem social
The Remy Club?
The Rem Club behind the
Was that
audience
Katie?
in Bootle.
Bootle, yeah. Bootle,
Right, only a small place.
Yeah,
And I remember
Remy Club.
putting you on there and went along to see you, that way you've got to, otherwise I wouldn't have sent a band up to Whitehaven or anywhere like that. And it wouldn't have been my gig, it would have been another agent's gig anyway up there.
Would it, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
I thought it was still somewhere in the Lake District or something, this big, massive club, and it was great.
Yes.
But then you see, at that time, Tom Jones was like a Las Vegas Elvis superstar. And we're in this club, like doing the pose of leaning against the same cupboard.
Right.
Just fantastic.
Yes.
So you have helped a lot of people. Are you still involved in that side of things, helping other people find work? Or?
Well, I retired in 2000. I retired for a lot of reasons. I'd sort of spent every weekend working for about 22 years. I opened up the agency in 78.
Yeah.
So I'd
That was
hardly...
Garston Entertainment.
Garston Entertainment. I'd hardly had a weekend off.
Yeah.
Because you don't switch off.
It must be a headache that the whole concert secretaries ringing you up, where's the band, where's this band, what's that? Is that the way it was?
It wasn't as bad as that, but they would phone and say, the band hasn't arrived, Dave, or he hasn't arrived, Dave. You had to be there at home to answer that phone.
Yeah.
You had to be there to answer the phone when the band had a problem.
Yeah.
One of the main problems I had, and I'll always remember this, I took a trio on, I would say late 80s, would it be late 80s? I reckon so, late 80s, let's say. Current Affairs was the name of the trio.
Yeah, I've heard of them,
Right, and I knew the lads, etc. They'd worked for me in various other trios, and I booked them out into New Year's Eve into Speak Rugby Club.
Yeah.
And which no longer exists, we might have. Anyway, I got a phone call from the lead singer, Ian, at about 6:30. Dave, we've got the key stuck in the lock, the sliding door of the van, and that's the ignition key. I'm knackered. And I thought, New Year's Eve, what am I going to do? But what I'd done, I was working on the airport at the time, and I had a driver working for me. Still running the agency, but involved, agency 100%, part-time on the airport at this time. And I'd got the driver on standby just in case there's problem. Anyway, I rang him and I said to Fred, can you do this? And he went there, transferred all the equipment over, took them up to the rugby club, left them there, came home and went back the next day to pick up their gear with them and got it sorted. But the point of the story is current affairs went on to be the icicle works.
Oh, that's Ian McNabb.
Ian McNabb.
Yeah.
And what do you call it on drums? Brilliant drummer, was working with Robbie Williams. And Chris, somebody on bass. I think
Chris Mullen on bass, is he? Oh.
No, not Mullen, it's Chris, I can't remember his second name, tall lad. And the drummer, his brother had a trio, they were from over on the Wirral. Chris Sharrock.
I remember that name, yeah.
Sharrock on drums. Yeah. And they went on to be the Icicle Works. The Icicle Works packed up and Chris ended up on drums for Robbie Williams on all his major tours.
Yeah.
And he was a lad who, Eddie Roberts, was the concert secretary of the United Services Club in Dingle.
Yeah.
And Eddie would always ring me up and say, Dave, come down, I've got these on. Or Dave, that group you sent. It was Eddie that sort of mainly told me about Brooklyn, because I'd not seen them. And
they were very good. They were so young as well and fresh, weren't they, Yeah. I still see Peter now and again, Diggsy,
yes.
I see him now. The last time I seen him was when I was comparing in the Bat Springs in Prescott. I was comparing the Bat Springs, and our paths crossed, and it was great to see him again. And then I went to see him in town. He's a great lad. He's still good, like a good lad.
Who does he work with now then?
He's in a band called The Sums at the moment. Right. They do original material.
Yeah.
They're called Sums, and they do like a lot of festivals. They're on the festival circuit more. Doing original stuff. He does original stuff.
Is John Legg with him, or is John?
No, John Leggett's not with him now.
Leggett,
I'm not sure what John. I would like to see John.